Today, I am really very happy to be over here and thank the organizers. This one, is it okay? Organizers for inviting me to talk on long-term preservation. I am also not really having, I'm also a plant breeder by profession. I come from ICRISAT, where I have worked for last 25 years, mainly as a groundnut breeder and also as a head of the genetic resources where we conserve the germplasm. A mention was made by Mr. Gupta about potato famine in Ireland. But 90 years or almost 120 years later on in 1960, there was another problem in corn in USA, where southern corn blight wiped out about 25% production of the corn in USA, in corn belt in the USA. Is that right? Okay. In USA. And at that moment, everybody got their heads together and started collecting germplasm, because if you recall, in 1960s, the green revolution was happening and thousands of the varieties of wheat and rice were being replaced by few high-yielding cultivars. And as a result, last year, FAO has published second State of World report, wherein in the world, in about 1800 gene banks, about 7.4 million samples are there. 7.4 million samples of the germplasm are conserved, and of them about 700,000 are in the CGIAR gene banks like ICRISAT, and they are global public goods available for research and development to the global scientific community. Can you go ahead, next one? So this is about ICRISAT, what our vision is, what we do, and what our mission is. The next one, please. And our approach is really partnership based, wherein we try to enhance the productivity of the crops we handle. The next one, please. The next one. These are the 5 main crops we deal with: sorghum, then pearl millet, these are 2 cereals, then chickpea, pigeon pea, and groundnut, these are 3 legumes. Also we do have germplasm of 6 small millets, finger millet, foxtail, and other 4 millets. The next one, please. So most of our germplasm is conserved as a orthodox seed and is conserved in medium term and long term. For us, medium term means something around even 10 to 20 years we consider at medium term, because in long term our studies do indicate that even after 27 years of storage, the seed viability or germination remains more than 95%. We conserve the seeds at preferred international standards. Could you go? And as I made a mention, we have about 120,000 germplasm of these 5 crops and small millets. In sorghum, we have close to 38,000 from 92 countries. In case of pearl millet, 22,000 we do have. And 15,500 of groundnut, 13,500 of chickpea, and 20,000 of chickpea accessions, 10,000 of small millets, 120,000 from 144 countries. And in last 35 years, we have provided over 1.4 million samples to the scientists in 146 countries. Next one, please. And in this case, as I made a mention, in medium term, we keep the seed at 4 degrees Celsius temperature and 30% relative humidity. And in case of long term, it is about minus 20 degrees Celsius temperature, and we do not control humidity because the seeds are in aluminum pouch and vacuum packed, and easily seeds can retain their viability for 50 or more than 50 years. Now in this case, seed moisture content and standard those protocols are followed. A mention was being made that how to bring out this to a particular moisture level. We use 15% relative humidity and 15 degrees Celsius chambers wherein you can walk. In muslin cloth you keep the seed for about 6 weeks. It's costly, but then it dries seed so slowly that you can keep the seed for very good quality one. And then each accession which enters long term is tested for health. No untoward, the fungus or other pathogens or insects, eggs are there on those seeds. These are the standards you can see, medium term and long term. And in some of these cases, crops, the seed has been conserved for more than 25 years. Still the viability is about 97% in some of them. So if we model it, we safely presume, and 85% is our lowest viability. The moment any accession shows below 85% germination, this lot goes to field to get the regeneration. So from 97 to 85%, we do believe that in long term we can conserve easily for 50 to 100 years. Next one please. And then we, as I made a mention, we regularly test the viability, monitor viability, and then take the remedial measures. The next one please. And this is about how we can even go for ultra drying of the seeds. And if even in the crop, the most difficult crop we do have is groundnut. And if you have a post rainy season crop harvested and you put in the sun, I am sure even in the next season we will not have the seed to plant, because in the pod the temperature goes above 70 to 80 degrees Celsius when environment temperature is even 44 or 45 degrees Celsius temperature. And that's where the scientific drying critical is very critical to maintain the germination and seed health. The next one please. And as I made a mention that we can have the good quality seed with high germination following these standards. The next one please. Okay, again this is the case of the groundnut and how we can increase the quality of the seed. The next one please. As an international effort is underway wherein the safety duplication of global genetic resources, say we do not own at ICRISAT this germplasm. This is in trust on behalf of global community, and we are duplicating this in Svalbard Global Seed Vault, and of 120,000 we have already safely duplicated at about 98,000 samples of different crops. So 12,000, 22,000 remains, and we would be duplicating everything at Svalbard. Like that, there are already 700,000 accessions. So with that, I'll thank, and if there are any questions or clarifications I can provide, I shall be most pleased with. With that, I end my talk and congratulate Gubbaz again on this splendid achievement of 25 years. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir. Now may I please invite upon Mr. Kottari Nageshwara Rao, Consultant, Seed Processing and Technology.
Respected speaker colleagues, dear friends, I'm really thankful to Gubba for giving me this opportunity. I know Gubbas for last 20 years. When I first visited their cold storage, some major company wanted to occupy. That time there was no dehumidifier. And they took it as a challenge. And in those days, putting up a dehumidifier is very expensive. And the power requirement is almost 8 to 10 times than the normal one. They took the challenge, they put it, and today you can see to what stage they have grown. Now they are like leaders in cold storage in the country, and definitely they grow globally. I congratulate them on that. Coming to our topic, my friends have already spoke about long-term storage. I would like to share some of the points. The earlier speakers made two very, very valid points. One is initial quality of seed. The second one is the vigor. In any form of storage, before this seed comes to the storage, they have to qualify for these points. As you know, as a seedman, we encounter with 4 types of storages. One is the farmer storage at the time of harvesting. It goes to few days to weeks. Sometimes the seed is stored in bags or heaps. And moisture is a very important point there. And you should take all possible care to see that there is no heating. Then the processing storage comes. It may run up to 6 months. Generally, the farmers bring a dry seed to 12% and then bring it. Here, there are no controlled conditions. We go by the ambient conditions, and you see a proper storage conditions at ambient conditions prevail. Then we have the retail storage, which is not in your hands. We don't know what type of conditions they are keeping it. That's a very, very risky storage also sometimes. Then you have the very long-term storage, where you keep the seed for years, and the conditions were well explained by my colleagues. Here, I just want to make some points. I want to exchange some few fundamental points which I encompass to make the seed eligible and see that the initial quality is good. One of the most important thing is timely harvesting without any mechanical damage is the fundamental thing. And then drying is also, one has to think. Drying is not only a drying, it is also a high temperature storage. One should not forget that. And when you start applying your rule of thumb, for every 10 degrees the life reduction goes up. Similarly, for every 10 degrees rise, the life also goes up. So at 120 degrees Fahrenheit you are drying, you have to have your very judicious decisions you have to take. And the most important thing, for example, ear corn, you are drying at 30% to 12%. 18% you are removing. The best recommended is 4%, 4 hours, 1% moisture. So for 18%, you should take about 72 hours. But there are some companies following it. There are some people, because of some laxity, they are not able to follow. It goes up to 5 to 6 days, sometimes 7 days. So whatever extra time you are giving, you are reducing the life of the seed. You should not forget that. And the other important thing is the speed of shellers. Many still are using high-speed shellers. The recommended speed is around 300 RPM. Care should be taken that you should shell at that speed. These are all the field problems I am trying to explain. And most of the top people are here. Probably this message should reach them. Okay. And then the moisture at which the crops should be shelled or any other crop is very, very important. Normally around 12 to 14% is very important. But when you are doing the shelling, after drying, what is happening, most of the crop dryers, where they are still using the single pass, there is a moisture gradient. When the bottom layer reaches 12%, the top layer is still on the top. When you combinedly do this, some crops are shelled at high moisture, some are lower, at lower level. And in the process, what is happening, you are having all sorts of bees beings, the chemical does not attack, there are so many other related problems. You are affecting the initial quality. And then, if you look into the vigor and viability curve, almost the viability curve goes horizontal, bends down, starting at the same point, whereas the vigor curve is convex. So as it falls, it goes at a very rapidly, the vigor falls. The other most important thing is at the processing plants, at the feeding points. Just like a jet, the seed is hitting the surfaces at different stages, right, starting from the input to the output. So you must take proper care that seed is properly dropped into the next machine and properly lifted. And especially when the seed is falling in the bins, it is never coming in a safe landing way. Either it goes in one of the sites and hits, at all the bins it gets hit. It is like a continuous abrasion of the seed against the metallic surfaces. And because of the quality requirements of the market today, competition, so earlier days we were using different type of elevators, but today there is a need for a positive discharge elevators where the seed is delicately lifted and properly get into the bin or the feeding point and with a safe landing. You are enhancing, you are reducing the impact load on the seed, because it cannot say that my head is breaking. We have to follow it, you have to see it, you have to observe it. And the another most important thing is, earlier days we were doing a simple seed treatment with the water dispensable powders, other things. Now we have the technique of using polymers and different, most expensive chemicals. So it is generally recommended to go for a G type of elevators where the treated chemical is delicately shifted from the treatment to the place. And another major factor is moisture before packing. Now, this is the one which affects most of the seeds in storage. What is happening now, if you look into our blue book, I have been telling, the moisture prescribed for vapor-proof packing is 8%. How can you dry it? Some companies are drying, after shelling, the same single pass dryers to dry the seed, loose seed. Again, the same moisture gradient. The top layers are not drying. There is no mixing. There is no uniformity. Because of this, the seed is in different stages, has different conditions. So before the seed is treated, you should know what is the moisture. And after treatment, whether it is going with the same moisture or not, or you should have, I call not a dryers, evaporators. Suppose you are feeding seed at 8 to 9% moisture before treater, afterwards it should come to 9% or the same moisture level, because only the surface moisture is there. You can evaporate it. So that is the most important thing. So with these things, I conclude. If you have any questions, you can ask me later. Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to thank all our speakers. Thank you for your generous time that you had here with us, sharing with us. Now may I please give away the stage to Mr. Guppa Prashant to take care in the session.
Yeah, the